You may be wondering why I'm reading a copy of Playboy magazine in the booth. Well, I'll tell you in a second, and it's safe for work, so stick around.
You're listening to The Dangerous Mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Summer is amazing. So I took a little break, and a couple of days on the beach, Santa Barbara, fresh uni. If you've never had fresh uni before, sea urchin, oh my God, it's amazing. And I got back from a few days on the beach, and it has been nuts. So I've been working on a couple of little side projects, trying to, improve my workspace. Not really the booth, but what's outside the booth out there in my office. And I'm going through my closet, which is jammed full of microphones and shock mounts and cables and just stuff, And I'm trying to make sense of it all. And I came across something that I wanted to share. So this copy of Playboy magazine, August 2006, feels like forever ago. And trust me again, this will be safe for work. So not that. That's definitely not safe for work. And neither is that. This might not be either. But here, I wanted to show you something. So that, can you see that? Can't see it with the glare. That's me in Playboy magazine. Check this out. Look at that. August 2006. Playboy on the scene. Isn't that great? This picture was taken in our vocal booth at Ben Vaughn Productions back when I was working for the TV music company. So here, I'm going to just read this for you, okay? Hellbent. The world's most offensively enlightened podcast is killing old school radio 25 minutes at a time. Remember, this is August 2006. Starting a podcast is easy. Starting an entertaining podcast is anything but. Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov began by recording rambling, angry thoughts into an MP3 player during his drive to work. A year later, his podcast Pacific Coast Hellway has evolved into a drum-tight 25 minutes of twisted sketch comedy, focused rage and slamming tunes that take 7 writers, producers, and voice actors 8 man-hours to produce each weekday. Imagine Howard Stern dropping acid with Trey Parker and Jon Stewart while driving around downtown LA, and you're nearly there. Some 200,000 episodes a month go out to subscribers, and the show's featured on Sirius Satellite Radio's podcast lineup, Channel 102. Subscribe for free at blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that Playboy had done a little feature ad on me. And what I wanted to actually talk about was really the fact that I had done this, not so much that I had done this podcast that we couldn't do today, because it did lean into, National Lampoon-esque offensive humor. And man, it was fun. And but here is the thing that this reminded me of. So I started this podcast in 2005 after reading an article in, I think it was like Macworld magazine, How to Start a Podcast in 5 Minutes. And so I start this podcast, and I put this episode out on Blogger, and 24 hours later, I get an email from some dude who lives on an island off of New Zealand. So an island off of an island. And this guy listened to my podcast and was like, dude, blah, 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 we're really cool. And that just kind of set me off on this motion to do this podcast. And here's the thing is, before I'd done this podcast, I'd never really had an on-microphone career at all, or any really, I'd done some stuff, but nothing really consistent. And then I started doing this podcast every day. Here's the thing. It took me, and this is not an exaggeration, I was doing this podcast 5 days a week in my car driving back from Venice to my place, and I would take PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, to get home. And so while I'm on PCH, I would have this thing, and I had like a little headset that plugged into a little handheld MP3 player. And I would just do this rambling show, and then I would often scream at other drivers because people here in LA drive like, it's the end of the world. And so it ended up being this podcast. It ended up being on Sirius Satellite Radio. But here's the thing. It took me 110 episodes to feel comfortable on the microphone. 110 episodes. 20-some weeks of doing this show until I really felt comfortable talking into a microphone. I mean, now it just seems weird. But my point is that it often takes a huge amount of repetition in order to get something where you're really comfortable doing it. 110 episodes. That just seems excessively bad that it would take me that long. But again, this was really an unplanned detour in the road that completely changed the trajectory of my life. If it hadn't been for that show, if it hadn't been for this article, if it hadn't been for getting on Sirius Satellite Radio, and if it hadn't been for Adam Curry, really, my life would be completely different right now. But the point that I'm making is not that I was in Playboy magazine. I thought that was funny. I thought I'd share that with you. But the point I'm making is that if you really want to do something, you'll feel it in your gut, and you just do it over and over and over until it feels right, until it feels like it's part of you. And then after that, it's like riding a bike. It's like you can just I feel like I can get on the mic anytime and just, start bullshitting and start being, really me. So, if you want to be a voiceover artist, you got to bring yourself to the equation. You got to bring your personality, your viewpoint to the equation. You're not just speaking words into a microphone. You are speaking words into a microphone. And that's all I wanted to say. Still going to enjoy my summer, my little hiatus. I just wanted to drop one real quick. That sounds terrible. I just wanted to drop an episode real quick. Say hi. Wish everyone... Oh man, that was sibilant. I want to wish everyone, a great summer. And also, I'm back on the Earthworks SV33. I have been doing a ton of commercials. It has been the busiest, since I've been back from vacation, it's been the busiest it's ever been. Back in, before COVID, a lion's share of my business was doing commercials for live events, college open houses, people hiring stuff, just, commercials in general. And now it's all back. So I've been super, super, super busy and haven't really had time to do any of this, talk to you, which, it's the weekend, Sunday, July 3rd, and I had to do a spot today. So I thought, what, I'm done. So let's talk. So how you doing? Let me know what you're up to, okay? Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.